Okay, we're going to go ahead and start Chapter 9. And again, Chapter 9 is probably one of the easiest chapters to deal with because, again, all it really is trying to tie all those formulas that we had at the end of pretty much other chapters, and it just reintroduces them again and puts them back into this chapter. So again, if you at least have the formulas with you, this chapter becomes super easy. But we're looking at really the big picture. Why do we do this stuff? Or what are we looking for? So the biggest thing that we look in for Chapter 9 is sustainable income and quality of earnings. And the first item, sustainable income, is really us predicting or estimating most likely level of income that the company can obtain in the future. Again, this is where we start with our budgeting and really our managerial chapters. So for those that will take 2302, you get to learn more about budgeting and how an internal accountant actually works. So when we look at these, sustainable income does remove anything that's unusual. And when we talk about unusual, it's probably pretty much stuff that's not in the normal course of business or probably only happen like very rarely. So we're going to tackle revenue, expenses, gains, and losses, especially gains and losses because we can never really predict those. We're going to use something known as a statement of comprehensive income, which is the best way to analyze and help pinpoint unusual activities. So of course, we're going to have a lot of examples, a lot of financial statements in this chapter. Again, we're looking over and trying to analyze what's going on. So here's our statement of comprehensive income, and really the stuff that's going on, sales revenue, cost of goods sold, gross profit, all this is regular course. But it gets something down here to discontinuing operations. Now that's going to be unusual for us. These two things in red. So most of your examples, especially with the homework, they're going to go ahead and just give you these items again later in your accounting courses, the ones that you may still need to take. You'll dive deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole of actually looking into these items. We're going to just skim over the top kind of thing, just to introduce you to it. Because again, this is an introduction course. So we have discontinued operations and other comprehensive income items. So we're going to go through each of these and give like a brief item about it, starting first with discontinued. And discontinued operations basically is the disposal of a significant component of business. Mostly it's us looking and saying pretty much this product or making this or this thing. We no longer need this department, stuff like that, or we stop using certain customers, anything to basically help trim down the expenses. That's what's going on. But it's really us deciding to discontinue that item. We alert users to the sale of any of the company's major components of its business. So kind of like when Sears alerted everybody that they were selling all Craftsman. And that was a big blow to them because, again, that was like their major tool. But, again, they're facing bankruptcy and they had to sell off a major component. So, what we need to report on the income statement. We're going to have income or loss from continuing operations, right there. Income and loss from discontinued operations. And we have income loss from operations and gain loss on disposal of the components. So we're definitely looking at these discontinued. What's going on? So how does it break down? Okay. So again, we kind of have this, and then we have an actual breakdown of discontinued. Okay. So this is how it's broken down. This is pretty much what you're going to see in the homework or the exam. Is this kind of breakdown going on? So assume that during 2017, because your book is extremely old now, but things don't change. We have Acro Energy Inc. has income before taxes of $800,000. During 2017, Acro discontinued and sold its unprofitable chemical division. Okay. The loss in 2017 from chemical operations, net of $60,000, was $140K. Okay. The loss of the disposal of the equipment division, net of $30,000 in taxes, was $70,000. Okay. Assuming a 30% tax rate on income, prepare a statement of comprehensive income. Now, when it's talking about these net of $60,000, $30,000, basically they went ahead and took taxes out already for you on those two items. So this was originally like $200K, and this was $100K. But when the problem already gives you that net, all we're going to do is take the numbers that they're going to give us. Okay? So, first thing that we have to do when we create this partial income statement, especially when we're dealing with discontinued, we're going to take income before income taxes. This was that $800K. I even trying to give y'all a little bit of the formulas going on. So, trying to help y'all out. But, we're just going to call that A for right now. But, $800K. Income tax expense is $800,000 times the 30% of taxes, which is our tax rate. Okay? So we found out that's $240,000. So, income from continuous operations. That should have actually a minus. Sorry about that. I don't know where that plus sign comes from, because that's obvious a subtraction. But, you'll take your income before income taxes and subtract your tax expense. So this is income from continuing operations. C. So basically we're right here. We didn't do all this part, we're only focusing down here. Next are discontinuing operations. So, we have a loss, another loss. You did not do so well, that's that's why they're getting rid of it. So we have 140,000 and 70,000. And that's what the problem gave us. We're going to go ahead and add these two together. Reason why again is because they're both losses. If one was a gain, it would do the difference. But together, it makes about 210,000 of a loss. So of course, if this is income, this is a positive flow, this is a negative flow, our net income is the subtraction of these two numbers. And there's our 350K. Okay? So really, it's just a breakdown and really just more of a classification of our income statement. A little bit more detail going on. Now, when we look at comprehensive income, again, this is getting into this other items. So right here, we're looking pretty much into the last bottom of this, the second item that we typically look for in unusual activities. Comprehensive income is the sum of net income and other comprehensive income items. Most of these are trading securities. Okay? So bought and held primarily for the sale in the near term to generate income or short-term price differences. And they're going to report the unrealized gains and losses in net income are under basically other expenses and losses or other revenue. So revenue and gains. So we also have available for sale securities. These types of securities are held with the intent of selling sometime in the future. Okay? So basically, trading securities are very short-term items, available for sale or long-term. You just give them two different, basically, titles to them. But for these available for sale, if it says it's available for sale, we do not report unrealized gains or losses in net income. These will show up under other comprehensive income, as it's showing you right here with Staffy Corporation. There's the net income, other comprehensive income. This is the unrealized loss on available for sale securities. $2,000. Here's our comprehensive income. Remember, this is a loss, so we'll drop it down. So, all that, it's all the book really gives you there on that too. So, just watch out for unrealized gains and losses, and that's really all that goes there. Again, we'll go over the homework problems on Thursday, and that's it for this chapter. And then next week is your exam over these two chapters, which again, on Tuesday next week, we'll go over, like, do a little mini review and stuff like that to help y'all out. Okay? So, really, all we do next is give an example of the full comprehensive statement, which again, they're using Peace Corp. And again, this is the basic income stuff we already know. We've already done this in prior chapters. And then there's our tax, 66,030 times 30%, because apparently it has another tax rate, 19,000. Income from continuing operations, $46,200. And here's the discount. Now they have them losing a loss on operation of plastic division. Okay. Again, this was their total times 30%. That gives us that tax savings of 18 grand, which basically they don't go into too much depth of what they're doing. So this is where I come in. Yes. Well, basically they did this. The total loss or income was 66,000 times 30% came out to this 18K. And what they do is basically they subtract and they come up to the 42,000. Again, most likely your problems are always going to give you the actual loss or the gain. Notice here, there is a loss and there's a gain on the disposal of the plastic division. They actually sold it for more than what it was worth to them. So here, with the loss and the gain, again, you have a negative cash flow and a positive cash flow. We'll subtract those two out. That's where we get the 7 grand. Then you take the 7,000, subtract it from, because it's a bigger loss, you subtract it from income from continuing operations, and that's where you get their net income. Here they have their other comprehensive income. And again, all they have is the available for sale. So just like up here, all we got to deal with right now is available for sale. So other comprehensive income, unrealized gain on available for sale. So their comprehensive income right now is $49,700. Right now, this is unrealized, meaning they haven't sold it yet, but they are predicting that they're going to have a gain on it. So that's why we're adding the two numbers. This was predicted to have a loss. We would have done the same up here. We would subtract. So watch out for those gains and losses. Okay? Now, the next part, this is sustainable income. Really, again, all it's looking at is to make sure, are you really going to make income or not? Quality of earnings, though, we're going to provide full and transparent information that will not confuse or mislead users of the financial statements. Basically here, we give our full disclosure. So we're going to tell them this is how it is, this is what it looks like, this is all these different factors that are affecting it, so forth and so on. So this is really the analysis that's going on. So a lot more formulas typically happen closer to this part, but we're going to focus on some factors. Okay? We're going to look at alternative accounting methods, which is variations among companies in the application of GAAP. These may hamper comparability and reduce quality of earnings. So they have actually examples already. This is good old inventory, depreciation, and amortization. Again, if I try to compare these to other companies, it's going to be extremely tough. Because again, I could be running FIFO. The company I want to compare with is running LIFO. We already know those two really don't mix together. So it's hard to compare. Same thing with depreciation. I may be using straight line, and for some reason the other company's using double declining. So again, those factors kind of affect quality of earnings. It's hard to compare when people use different methods. We also have something called pro forma income, which basically excludes items the company thinks are unusual or non-recurring, thus the discontinuing operations and other comprehensive income. These are done by analysis investors. They're really focused on these items. So they report that makes the company look better than really are. Yeah, technically if we can pull out what we want, so this is how companies really can mess with y'all on the stock exchange. Right here with pro forma, basically if I can say these items that are messing with us, that are hurting our income, I can pull them out to make our income better, then I'm going to do that. So, analysts and investors kind of don't like pro forma income. Again, it's basically the company manipulating their income to make them look better. But on the flip side, companies are going to argue that morally clearly indicates sustainable income. It's like, with getting rid of this unusual items, like discontinued and other comprehensive, or whatever I feel like that's unusual to my company, which could be anything. They manipulate. That's why some people don't like pro forma income when they look at quality earnings. A lot of manipulation going on. Next, we have improper recognition. Again, this is manipulating earning numbers to meet expectations from investors. Basically, we're going to, again, start playing with the numbers a little bit, maybe sell a little bit early, or make a lot of stuff to show that our income's really good, when it's not really. And this brings us into channel stuffing, which basically, wish you kind of did split pages here, but channel stuffing offers deep discounts to encourage customers to buy early rather than later. Again, they're trying to boost up sales. We want sales, so we're going to go, yeah, this was some item that was $4,000. We're going to sell it for $200. We're going to deep discount it. That was a deep discount. But basically, it's like offering 50 to 75% off of an item, so you can start getting more sales. They're also going to look at with channel stuffing, boosting earnings in current period by leads, but leads to disaster in later periods. Yeah, this is what happens. When you're trying to boost your earnings, you're trying to sell a lot of stuff in the current period. But a lot of times, customers are going to be used to this lower deep discount than the regular price. So they're not going to buy later down the road. This could also lead to inventory shortages. Not enough inventory to meet demand. So, this is something that's actually pretty bad. That happens a lot. Again, when that pressure comes from investors, and you need to meet their expectations, people will do anything to do that. And channel stuffing's one. And to me, it's just a bad business practice. But again, you want investors to keep putting money in your stocks and everything. You want to look good. And that's the problem ends up happening. When you look good, you do stupid things. So, other examples of improper capitalization of operation expenses and fail to report all their liabilities. Again, you can already see back in the chapter we had fraud in that here with improper recognition kind of have the beginning of fraud going on. And that's what we really want to try and get away from. And when people look at quality of earnings, you have to be aware of these items. And this chapter feels a lot more multiple choice right now with a lot of definitions. And again, just trying to wrap up a lot of stuff. Don't worry. Be happy. So we're going to try to combat a little bit of these two items, the sustainable and quality of earnings, by looking at trends. This is how we analyze it. Randy, they make it sound like it's good. It's always that way. It's when companies really want your earnings, they are going toward what they think is right. And some people get caught and some don't. Again, if you don't get caught, this is what the thinking is, just like a child. If I don't get caught, then I can keep doing it. And this is why basically you would hire a analysis or basically a financial investor or some financial analysis, and they want to look at these. And again, the biggest thing is comparative. That's pretty much legit. It's the battle between analysis and companies here that deals with the sustainable stuff up here. Because some companies will say this is unusual and they'll take them out on their income. Sometimes, a lot of times they just report income from continuing operations. Is that sustainable to them? But they will remove some of these items. So yeah, it's not the most prettiest thing, but right now, this is a lot of times how capitalism is. Again, it's a lot of pressures and people are going to manipulate. This improper recognition though, this is what we try to stop a lot more. So this is where the SEC comes in. So they are trying to stop this, but again, this is a legit practice of channel stuffing. You see this all the time. Now, improper calculation of operating expenses and fail to report all their liabilities, yeah, that's a big no-no. But channel stuffing is actually legal. Now, there's some things going on, yes, but because of offering deep discounts, this is like your Black Friday going on. This is offering deep discounts to encourage customers to buy early rather than later. So that's a legal item. That's not shady. It's just really stupid to do. This part right here, this last bullet point, now that's mostly manipulating. Again, really, all I want you to do is know the basics of this. Again, when you get into your later classes, hopefully, I know that they have a business class in taxes. it should get a little bit more into quality of earnings. Okay? But again, there's ways that we look at them when we compare companies that we're going to actually focus on, are ways that we analyze to see if we can find what's going on. And the first one is, of course, horizontal analysis, or what we call a trend. This is where, again, you're going to notice this with companies. They run through cycles a lot of times. And so, because basically they act like humans. So when we get into our routine, it typically stays the same. So you can see this like wave that happens with their earnings. They'll go up and then go down, up and down, up and down. They're never like a straight arrow constantly going up with jagged edges. It's always a wave. Now, during this coronavirus, yeah, a lot of them did go into a jagged spiral down. But this is an unusual item that happened with the shutdown. But in the normal course, this is how analysis will work. They're trying to find the trend. Why is it constantly going up, or why is it constantly going down? When can we predict these items? Now, for our sakes, again, we're going just to touch the surface. We're not going to go too much in depth, because again, you have other accounting courses that will. This is just to show you what's going on. Again, remember, this is the intro course. So, first one, of course, is horizontal. And this is a technique for evaluating a series of financial data over a period of time. So we're not comparing companies. We're comparing basically years of that company. So it's not comparing against someone else, just itself. So, its again purpose is to determine the increase or decrease that has taken place. And we compare it in two ways. Change since base period. So whichever year we want to start with. We'll take the current year amount. So again, it's like, basically they're starting with 2013. And we've got a few of the examples going on. So I'll go through the examples. I just want to go over the formula. So you take the current year amount minus base year amount divided by the base year. Okay. Current results in relation to base period. This is your current year amount divided by base year amount. Okay. So, to actually give an example. Okay. So, when we look at this, again, you can see what's going on here. Calculator's right there. Alright. So right now they give an example of the current results to base period, which is basically 9614 divided by 8812. And that's where they're getting the 109.1%. All they're doing is taking our base year of 2013, this is what we're analyzing, and seeing if through the years, are we going higher and higher? Are we lowering? We want to know if we're making more of a percentage-wise. Again, this is how you can actually see it too. I take 9614 minus 8812 and divide it by 2. That's basically without the 100. So that's basically giving you the 9.1%. That's all they're doing. It's really all it is. So again, you start with whichever year we wanted to, and we get analysis. They're doing with Chicago Serial based on 2013. So right now, the trend is, if we're looking from 2013 to 2017, right now, we can definitely see they're gaining profit. And we can analyze of how much profit is gained each year, too. Because it looks like based on 2013, they got 9.1%. So they almost increased by 10%. Next year, they had 15.5%. So they did not double it. They only went up an additional 6%. So then you look and you notice that the trend is starting to actually slow down once we compare. Further out we get to 2013, we're not making as much income in sequential years. We are making more. But as we compare, the increases are not super high. Now, normally when comparing on financial statements, we'll use the change since base period as we usually only compares basically 2 years. If we try to do it this far out, it's not really going to be beneficial to us. So usually base period is only 2 years. So, again, this is what they're looking at. So it's still taking the same information, 2016, 2017. So we're only comparing 2 years, the difference between 16 and 17. So again, basically, this is a comparative balance sheet. Even though it says condensed, this is what we call comparative. And we typically, again, use this for statement of cash flows, which I don't even think we went into the statement of cash flows, but you will in 2301. And basically all we're doing is comparing and seeing did we increase or decrease. And then we look at certain items. Some things, again, you don't want to increase, and some things you don't. All we're going to do is the basic looking. So here, current assets. As you can see in 16, an increased by 290, or about 11.9%. Other assets have also increased. So we know property assets are fixed assets. So that means they bought some kind of type of fixed asset. But basically all we're doing is a comparative. We're just checking each year. Same thing with the income statement. Here, we can actually see, based on income, some of our taxes went down. So that's a good thing. Less expense. A lot of our income went up. So basically that's all you're doing is you compare and contrast. Now, we already know what businesses, liabilities, you probably don't want to increase. So it is increasing. So not a lot, but we do know we're taking on more debt. Same thing here. They're financing more equity. I'm diving a little bit too much deep into this because all it is supposed to give you an example of how to use these items. Now, On the other side, if you can go horizontal, you can also go vertical. And vertical typically uses a lot more of our gross profit formulas, as we know. So, vertical analysis is also known as common size analysis. And this technique for evaluation financial statement data expresses each item as a percentage of a base amount. Typical are sales, net sales, gross profit percentage, could be current assets on the balance sheet. How much is each asset to our total assets, percentage-wise? So basically we're learning the makeup of our items. Like, where did our sales go to? Well, here, that's current asset. I'm going to look at the income. So here's our sales. So we're basing everything on sales. That's why it's 100%. And what we're looking at is basically the high percentages. High percentages tells us, basically, I'm making all this money. I sold all this. Where is it going to? Here, you can definitely show 56% of your cost of goods. Basically, that makes up most of your sales. You're paying off cost of goods sold. Over half just goes to that. And again, that comparative is basically taking basically whatever the number is and divide by your base amount. All we're doing. Now, when we look at a comparative, one, we like to look at the current year, see what's going on, but we also want to look at from the prior year. Okay? What we're doing is we're seeing again trends. What's going on? Did we increase or did we lower? Now, we see that we were 55.8% and we raised from 16 to 17, cost of goods to 56%. All it was 0.2. So we're still staying roughly in the range. We do know we increased our sales, so that's going to do a little bit of a difference, but still it's staying in the same range, about 56%. We're also noticing with all the other numbers that they're staying within the same range. So, we're not having anything that's really unusual happening. Basically, all the numbers adjusted themselves for the newer income. All this analysis is doing is trying to see if there's something weird going on. If they're not, like, say 1% one year was like only 2%, and then the next year it jumps up to like 25%. That's a really exaggerated number there, but if that happens, we may want to check into that. Again, this is more for auditing purposes. Here, again, you're just looking, and I just want you to know this is going on. I'm not diving into too much depth. This is not an auditing course. Okay? I think that's actually for accounting majors, and that's your capstone course. But you get to do a lot more auditing and going into these numbers. Again, I just really want you to know how to do it and recognize if something just looks off. The balance sheet, again, they mostly will go from the total, so total assets and total liabilities, and then find the percentages based on those. Now, cool thing with this difference between horizontal, which is up here, which can only really compare years, even though vertical does the same thing for us, we can actually compare companies based on it. So, this is the one key advantage of vertical analysis. Because of this percentage based on sales, we can compare. Now, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But we're actually going to see if a certain company can basically have their cost of goods sold at a certain percentage that's lower than ours, and they're in the same industry. We're going to check. Like here, we're comparing Chicago Cereal versus Giant Mills Inc. I really want to know, he's really trying to do a parody there. But as you can see, again, we're basing off each of them on our sales. And then we're looking at percentages. And we're going to compare and contrast. Here, we're actually doing better on our cost of goods sold. Notice that theirs is higher in percentage makeup, which means we're making more money based on each dollar. Basically about 44% goes to gross profit, well 35.6. So, that's not bad. The problem that ends up coming down here is net income. Look at that, they're doing a better percentage on net income than we are. So then we compare which one is basically hurting us. And it's selling and administrative. Why is ours so much higher in percentage based on to theirs? So this is when companies look at it and go, okay, I want to compete. I have to figure out how they're making more income. So why is their percentage of income better than ours? And then I compare all my expenses and find the worst and figure out, can I lower that percentage at all? Some companies can, some companies cannot. Usually if you want to grow, and again, they're making almost 6,000 more than us. If we want to grow, we probably gotta keep the expenses. But we're going to check. Again, all this is a tool to compare. That's all it is. That's only scratching the surface. So this chapter, again, is the formula chapter. It is bringing back every formula that you have ever done in this course. So basically, keep an eye on those, and it brings you one more. So, one more ratio, and that's the price-earnings ratio, which basically compares market prices and earnings across firms, basically companies. It reflects investors' assessment of the company's future earnings. So again, what does investors think of how well you want to be? So high ratio basically is going to deal with investors are thinking that your earnings will increase substantially, so a lot, basically, in the future, and will pay more per share of stock. This is the biggest thing that most companies on the stock exchange are looking for. They want this price-earnings ratio to be high. Of course, a low ratio is those investors thinking the company has poor quality earnings. So again, if somehow the quality of earnings kind of looks a little bit weird, this profit-earnings ratio is actually going to kind of knock it out. So So, how do we do this? Well, the formula for it as itself is market price per share divided by earnings per share. Now, we do have to figure out earnings per share also, and these numbers are going to be given to you anytime you see this ratio again, because this is an intro course. But this is going to be net income available to common stockholders divided by average number of common shares outstanding. So again, watch out for these averages. So if there's an average and the problem gives you like a beginning number of common shares and then an ending number of common shares, make sure you add those together and then divide by 2. Again, find your average. A lot of times, they're just going to give you the number just to help you out, because again, this chapter is formula driven after explaining all the comparatives, which means this. Keep these pages handy for when you go through the homework or a quiz or even the exam. Because guarantee this is going to probably fall into multiple choice real easily. And most of your multiple choice is probably going to be a workout with a ratio. That's just kind of figuring since there's so many. But we have liquidity ratios, which again measures the short-term ability of the company to pay its maturing obligations and to meet its unexpected need for cash. Basically, can they pay off their bills? The biggest users that are interested are going to be your bankers and suppliers. And this brings back working capital, current ratio, inventory turnover, days in inventory, accounts receivable turnover, and average collection period. Again, all these are from prior chapters. So, they're all back. Now, these are all of our liquidity ratios that we've gone over. The other ratios, again, we have solvency ratios, and these measure the ability of the company to survive over a long period. Basically, auditors are going to use these more to see if the company has a growing concern. Basically meaning, are they going to go bankrupt? So, basically users for this one are very big on long-term creditors, so the bank itself, or anybody else that gives you a loan, and stockholders. Big on these ratios. Again, it's going to be your ability to pay interest as it comes due, and to repay balances of debt at maturity. So can you pay your bonds? And those bonds that came out in Chapter 8. So, these things that we only really went over 3 types in prior chapters. That was your debt to asset ratio. This is the total liabilities divided by total assets. Your times interest earned, and your free cash flow. Again, if you ever have a problem with one of these, they will specifically tell you what these items are, okay? Or they usually will do a financial statement or a list of items and go, hey, solve for this, solve for that. Again, have the formulas handy. We won't go through. The last batch of ratios that we went through is known as the profitability ratios. And these again measures the income or operating success of a company for a given period of time. So these are more used in what we've done in Chapter 9, especially up here with the vertical and the horizontal analysis. We use a lot of times these profitability ratios in those. And there's our new one too. So, users that are interested are, of course, traders and investors. And basically, it's the ultimate test of management's operating effectiveness. How well are they operating? Can they make money? Especially, can they make profits? Because that's everything that a business is about, is making a profit. So, ratios that we use here, these are our profitability ratios that we use throughout the course. Was the earnings per share? That was actually, I believe, the last chapter, since that's still with the top. Price earnings ratio, which we just had in this chapter. Gross profit rate, profit margin, return on assets, asset turnover, a payout ratio, and lastly but not surely, the return on common stockholders' equity, or ROE. Which again, just be wary of all those items and have these formulas ready. Okay? And that's really it for Chapter 9. Chapter 9, again, introduces very few new items. Its biggest thing is ratios. And ratios, which all these we've gone over in prior chapters of what they are. And then they're going to be reintroduced into the homework, which again, I will go through the homework on Thursday. But what I really want y'all to do is to go ahead and give it a shot. Just look over it, look at the problems. I would say if you want to, probably use it on a scratch piece of paper to go through them instead of using an attempt. But that's just me. So when I go over them, of course, that allows you to have questions. Lets you build up the questions before. Because again, I know when I go over them, if you've just seen them, the questions don't come to you until later. Usually that always happens when you see something new. That's when the questions come, is after everything's done. So I do want y'all to try to understand a little bit. So again, next week, we'll have the exam. That will start on Thursday, and we'll end on Saturday. Okay? Tuesday next week, we'll go over the overall picture again of what you're probably going to see, plus probably go over some of the practice problems for the chapter, or for the exam. But it's only those two. And again, because of the COVID-19 and everything going messed up with our schedule for this semester, I'm adding this extra bonus, is that if it beats out this exam, since we only were able to take 3 exams anyway, if it was able to beat out one of your lower exams, I'm just going to take this exam grade and replace your lowest. Okay? I think that's just fair. So, again, do will. It's only 2 chapters. Just one is a bugaboo with formulas. But I'm sure y'all are going to be able to ace this very easily. But that's it. That's it for this actual course and lectures.